As usual with every month, the beginning of December completely snuck up on me. I think it's because Thanksgiving was so late in November that I turned around, like I blinked, and it's already December 1st. So let's get this done. Let's be as concise as possible so it's easy to edit and I can just get it up. Let's go. Okay, so instead of doing a roundup of the books that I was supposed to read for November's TBR Bakery, I'm just going to tell you what I'm carrying over into the month of December, which is quite a lot. I did get a comment on my November TBR. There was a little confusion with the way I played my game, and it was kind of understandable. So I'm just going to clarify really quick. My game, I do this, it's basically just for fun. I never like promise that I'm going to read the books. And the comment was basically like, so you didn't finish your reading, so you're taking a punishment which adds more reading to the reading that you're already not doing. Fair. Very fair. But in this game, it's basically just a pile of possibilities, more so than ever before this month for December, because whatever ends up on this TBR, I'm probably just going to want to read a bunch of Christmas books. So Christmas books will probably be my priority. And then any books that come from this game will just be a pile of possibilities if I get sick of Christmas books. So what I'm carrying over with me into December, let me get my reading journal. I had a very bad reading month in November. I finished 4 books, and I think a couple of them I had already started before the month began. So I will be carrying over the Just Add Air. I read about 30% of that, and then the physical book that I had from the library and the audiobook both went back before I had a chance to finish, and there's a hold on the audiobook, and I haven't been back to the library to try to check out the physical again. Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen. Again, a book I started. I will be continuing it. I have the ebook out from the library right now, so it's on hand. And it's also the next ebook that I will be reading. Next, I have Happy Place by Emily Henry. I started it. I will be continuing that in December. The Incongruous Spy. This copy is horrendous. But I will be reading this in December, hopefully. It was like a double punishment book. It was for the Burt Batch spot, and I had to pick like a scary book, and I mean, this is scary looking at least, right? I will be carrying over The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Again, a book I've started. I didn't make as much progress in it as I wanted to, so I'm really, really wanting to read this. So it's definitely getting carried over. And one that wasn't on my TBR at all was 19 Minutes, but I am about 60%, like well over halfway through. So I would like to finish this at the beginning of December as well. Other things that were on my TBR, I had Holly Banks Full of Angst. I didn't even touch it, didn't even think about it. I will probably just delete it from my Kindle because this would have been the perfect opportunity and I didn't even think about it, so I probably don't want to read it. And actually, the way I talked about it in the last video, I definitely don't want to read it. When the Moon Hatched, I read it. Serpent and Wolf, I did not finish it, but I will. And Wolf Girl and Black Prince is a manga, so I'll probably just read it today. So not in November, but it will be read because I still have it from the library. That's pretty much all I'm going to say about last month. And let's just get into December. Again, I'm super excited to read Christmas books. I hope to get a lot of Christmas books on this TBR. If not, the books I do get will just be a pile of possibilities when I get tired of Christmas books. So without further ado, let's get into the rolls for December. Roll 1 is a 3. Oops, I need my little moving piece. 1, 2, 3. We have a donut. And that is a book with a pretty cover. Roll 1 got me a donut, and it is a book with a pretty cover. And for this, I'm going to use one of the books that's on my bucket list-a-thon TBR, and that is Bloodguard by CC Robson. I think this cover is very pretty. It strikes me as very wintry. I said it in that video, but I'm sure this book is not wintry or Christmassy or anything. It's purely based on the cover. It's just like the white and the red. It seems very like wintry and Christmassy, so you know, nothing to do with the book, just pure pretty cover energy. And yeah, so I'm going to pick this. All I know about this book is it has to do with a gladiator and a tournament of some sort. I heard a lot of people wanting to read this and like buying this book, but I haven't actually heard anybody talk about it yet, so I don't know what to expect going in, but the prompt is pretty cover. It's a pretty cover, so it works. Roll 2 is a 1. It's a cake slice. Back to the last cake. So there is no last cake, so I guess we'll just go back to the beginning. Roll 3. Oops. Is another 1. So we have a donut. And it is a book set outside the US. All right, the game is already being mean. We got a cake, and it said to go back to the last cake. We were at the first cake, so we basically had to go back to the beginning. And then roll 3 got me a donut, and it was set outside the US. And for that, I'm going to read The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. This takes place in England, I believe. All right, so I'll just read the synopsis. It says, London, 1893. When Cora Seaborn's brilliant, domineering husband dies, she steps into her new life as a widow with as much relief as sadness. Her marriage was an unhappy one, and she never really suited the role of society wife. Seeking refuge in fresh air, in open space, she leaves the metropolis for coastal Essex, accompanied by her inquisitive and obsessive 11-year-old son, Francis, and the boy's nanny, Martha, her fiercely protective friend. Once there, they hear rumors that after nearly 300 years, the mythical Essex Serpent, a fearsome creature that once roamed the marshes, has returned. When a young man is mysteriously killed on New Year's Eve, the community's dread transforms to terror. Cora, a keen amateur naturalist with no patience for religion or superstition, is immediately enthralled, certain that what locals think is a magical sea beast may be a previously undiscovered species. Okay, interesting. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I am looking forward to this one. It is historical fiction. Roll 4 is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a cupcake. And it is the highest rated physical TBR. Next, we got a cupcake, and it was highest rated physical TBR. So this card has come up a few times, and I believe last time it came up, I decided that I'm just going to pick one of the highest rated books on my physical TBR, because I have no interest in reading the highest rated book on my physical TBR. And the next two are books that are like 1,200 pages plus. So I picked like the 4th highest, and this book is a little bit fun because my husband and I both came into the marriage with a copy of this book. And so when I mentioned that it was one of the highest rated books and I think I was going to pick it, he said, let's do a buddy read. So we are going to be buddy reading the Icewind Dale trilogy by R.A. Salvatore. I believe we're only going to read the first book because this is a trilogy in one. So we're going to read the first book. It's 31 chapters plus like a prelude and an epilogue. So we're basically just going to read like a chapter a day. I think that's a pace I should be able to keep up with. The first book is, I believe, 364 pages, we said. So yeah, just the first book in the Icewind Dale trilogy, and it's going to be a buddy read with my husband, and I'm very excited. I don't really know much about this. I know that it is like Dungeons and Dragons fantasy. That's all I know, but I'm excited. Roll 5. Ooh, is another 3. 1, 2, 3, a cupcake. Oops. Cooper pick. That's always a fun one. Next, we got another cupcake, and it is my favorite one, which is a Cooper pick. And I'm going to give him 3 books to choose from. I am going to give him Open and Shut by David Rosenfeld, which I don't know what this is. This was I was walking through the stacks at the library, and I just saw a bunch of like dog-related titles, and it turns out that this is a mystery series following a man and his golden retriever, so I'm in. These are all library books, by the way. Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed. I don't know anything about this, but I've heard people talk about it, I guess, is the only reason I picked it up. We are following Lady Macbeth from the Shakespeare play. Okay, great. And Lessons in Chemistry is another book that I just saw on the shelf. People have talked about it, people seem to enjoy it, so I decided to give it a shot. So those are the 3 books that I'm going to give him to choose from. You're going to help me pick a book, okay? Wait. Okay. Oh, Open and Shut. So he picked Open and Shut by David Rosenfeld. Get that last one. Thank you, sir. All done. All done. And he chose Open and Shut by David Rosenfeld. Again, this is a book that we are following a man and his golden retriever. Tara, I think is her name. And I'm excited for it. Anything that involves dogs at this point, I'm excited for. All right, we're already getting pretty high here. So this is roll 6, I think. Is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A donut. A female author. Next, we got a donut, and it was female author. And for this, I finally get a Christmas book on this TBR. I'm going to read The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. I bought this last Black Friday, like last year, and then I never read it for Christmas. And so I kind of held on to it for this year because I wasn't really feeling Christmas books at any other time of the year. So this is going to be the first Christmas book that I got on this list, and I'm very excited about it. It says, she's going to save Christmas just to spite him. Single dad and town manager Noah Yates has always taken his responsibilities seriously. But when a late season hurricane turns merry Connecticut, oh, it takes place in New England. Love it. Into a disaster, he's left scrambling to pick up the pieces of the home he loves. That is until renovation expert and reality TV star Catalina King shows up with a camera crew and a budget big enough to put the town back together. It seems like the perfect Christmas gift, but Noah isn't so sure. He doesn't want a celebrity diva capitalizing on their tragedy or filling his daughter's head with visions of glitz and glam. The last time Kat was in town, after all, she caused nothing but trouble. Kat is used to being underestimated, but Noah has an uncanny knack for getting under her skin. They can't be in a room together without rubbing each other the wrong way, except for that time in the dark alley where the rubbing was just right. What? Okay. Can these enemies work together to pull off a Christmas miracle, or will their fighting leave them both on the naughty list? I'm excited. Roll 7. Oops. It's a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another cupcake. A library book. That's always a perfect one. I always have tons of books out from the library. Next, we got a cupcake again, and it is a library book, and for that, I am going to read The Singles Table by Sarah Desai. This is the third book in like a companion series of contemporary romances. The first book is The Marriage Game. I read it probably a few years ago now, but I really enjoyed it, and I read the second book. And then I just like randomly saw this at the library, so I picked it up. And it says, opposites attract in this laugh-out-loud romantic comedy about a free-spirited lawyer who is determined to find the perfect match for the grumpy bachelor at her cousin's wedding. Roll 8. Here's a 3. 1, 2, 3. A cake. Way back TBR, so something that's been on my TBR since like 2019 or 2020. Next, I got a cake slice, and it is my way back TBR, so anything that's been on my TBR since like 2019 or 20. And for this, I picked another Christmas book. I went through my Goodreads list, and I saw that I added this January 1st of 2019, so it counts. And that is A Kiss for Christmas by Melody Grace. It looks to be, I don't really know much about it. It's something that I have on my Kindle. 3 like Christmas short story like romances. I don't, again, know anything about it, but it's something that I owned. So I'm reading from my owned ebook TBR, and it's Christmas. So that's all I really needed to know. And our last roll, but we're gonna roll anyway just for fun. A 5, of course. So the end spot is this or that, higher or lower, with a D20. And finally, we made it to our end spot, and I got this or that, higher or lower, with a D20. So let me insert that clip here. Okay, so for my lower book, I'm using Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This is not on my list of things that I want to read this month. And I also already have a Lucy Score book on my TBR, so this would be less than ideal, although I still do want to read it. And it still would count towards my goal of reading off my physical TBR. And then for higher, I have Lessons in Chemistry. This is a library book. I want to read it before it has to go back. And one of you recently told me you really enjoyed this book, so I would probably enjoy this book based on my taste and stuff. So I want to read this. So that is my higher book. But I guess I'm kind of cheating because it is December. I'm giving myself a little bit of a a break because I wouldn't mind reading either of these. Okay, so here's our first roll. Is a 16, so I am obviously going to guess that it's going to be higher. I mean, lower. Sorry, lower. My official answer is lower. So if it's lower, I get to read the book I want to read, right? Is that how this game works? I don't really remember. Whatever. Let's just do it and then I'll figure it out. It is a 13, so I guess I would read this book, right? I don't know. Let's figure it out together. And as you can see, I'm a little confused. So when I put this together, maybe I'm just having a little bit of a brain fart today, but I was like, okay, so I assign a book lower, I assign a book higher, and then I roll the die, I get a number, and then I roll it again, and I guess if it's gonna be higher or lower, but here's where I got a little confused. Because I assigned lower to a book and higher to a book, but then I guessed the correct, I guessed whether it was gonna be higher or lower correctly, but it was lower. So do I read the book that was lower or do I read the book that was higher because I guessed right? I don't know what my own rules were. So if you want to help me out, I guess I'll just put both of these on the TBR for now and let me know which one you think I should read. Like I said, it's not that I would be upset to read either of these. This one, I already have a Lucy scorebook. Like I said, this is a library book, so it's a little bit more of a priority. But I would be fine reading either of these, and I just don't remember my own rules, so help a girl out. Let me know which one of these I should read. And that is gonna do it for my December TBR. I managed to get a couple of Christmas books on here, so I'm happy about that. But again, the rest of this will just kind of be a pile of possibilities for when I get sick of reading Christmas books, but I will prioritize the 2 Christmas books I did get on this list because they're officially on the TBR. So this is the TBR. I have Bloodguard for a pretty cover, the Essex Serpent for Set Outside the US. I have the Icewind Dale trilogy for a highly rated TBR book, physical TBR, Open and Shut for a Cooper pick, the Christmas Fix for a female author, the Singles Table for, a library book, A Kiss for Christmas for a Wayback TBR book, and one of these 2 books, let me know which one you think I should read, for my end spot, which was a higher or lower with a D20, which I guessed the right number, but it was lower. So I'm not sure what I should do. And then as well as these books that I am rolling over, plus the Jasad Heir, I have a lot of books to read in December, which is why it's a pile of possibilities, and I am not in any way guaranteeing anyone that I'm going to read all of these books in December, especially when I feel like I'm in a little bit of a reading slump. So let me know which books you are most excited for me to read, I guess. If you've read any of them, if you really enjoyed them. Yeah, just let me know what I should read. Let me know what I should prioritize. And I hope you have a great holiday season in December and do a lot of reading. All right, that's it for me today. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.